Today, we embark on another epic but long overlanding journey as we cross the province of British Columbia. With over 900 kilometers of driving to do in the next 3 days, we are heading south to try and explore the most southern route linking the two cities. As we cross the high altitude forests, deserts, and everything in between, we explore some hidden gems. But it isn't without its problems as we fight off storm after storm for a glimpse of sunshine. So let's get started. And welcome back. We are back where we ended last episode on the road into Vancouver. Well, this time we're heading out of Vancouver. As I said, last episode I came here for my graduation as well as doing some exploration, some exploring and stuff. And we were going to go to Tofino. Unfortunately, as you guys have probably seen in the news, Tofino, the main road through there, is on fire. Straight up just on fire. So we actually weren't able to go through and go check out Tofino. We could have took a really long additional 4-hour detour, but you know with that it could be closed and it would be impossible to make it back. It's not, and they aren't recommending non-essential travel, so we decided rather not do that and stay and explore a little bit of Vancouver. And obviously because those were mostly logging roads and stuff, nothing super interesting, and we just kind of didn't make a video for that stuff. But we have some really cool stuff planned in the future, specifically with the Vancouver Subaru Club. I know some of you guys are from the Vancouver Subaru Club, so that's awesome to see. But what we'll be doing a camping trip with some of the team from that, as well as we'll be back in this area in less than a month. Besides that, we'll also be checking out Central BC and a bunch of other places, so you guys definitely didn't miss out on much because we have so much content planned that I don't know how I'm going to fit it all in. With that being said, as I said, we are going back to Calgary. So going back to Calgary, we're going to take the south road. I don't want to bore you guys with the same camping spots, the same area, even though I probably tried different camping spots. I don't want to do that. I want to go explore something new. We're going to do the road I actually drove here when I moved out here to do my grad school. And we'll be taking the south road. So that is it's a bunch of different highways, but it's like the 97, I believe, the 3. There's a bunch of different highways, but essentially we'll be going through like Osoyoos, Cranbrook, Burnie, and then be going up Highway 22 to Calgary. So that's kind of the route we'll be taking in this video. And much like last episode, this video is going to combine all 3 days of our trip from Vancouver to Calgary. So you won't have to go wait for episode to episode because I have so much planned. If I split this up, you guys aren't going to be seeing these videos till the end of summer, so I want to get those videos out for you and I want to kind of do some more adventuring. So yeah, that is the plan today. I'm headed outside of Vancouver. As you guys know, Vancouver traffic, always great. No, not great. I'm used to the Alberta traffic where on the highways we just get and go, but not so much here. So we're going to continue along this for a little bit and keep on going till we hit some fun roads. So let's go ahead and make a move. As we started making our way out of the dense city, the clouds threatened to pour on us. Yet, somehow it didn't. So, we continued to push out of the city and into the urban sprawl, where, once again, we were reunited with the tree-lined freeway as we made our way east. And after what felt like forever, we broke free of the city's grasp through the farmland and into the mountains. Where, shortly after meeting up with the Coquihalla, we turned off for the south route. Which, only after a short while, was surrounded by misty mountains as we weaved through them. And from there, the skies finally opened up as we started pushing up and through the pass. And well, we're way past Vancouver, or as we call it, Raincouver. And well, now we actually hit the rain. So we are pretty much outside of the Manning Park, so we had a little bit of time before Manning Park. We kind of went through Hope, and then we got through Manning Park, and then that park is really nice. It's a lot different than when I drove it when I came to Vancouver 2 years ago. It seems like there's a lot more, I don't know if it's forest fire or pine beetle or something, but the trees that I remember being big and green, there were just a lot of dead trees on the side of the road. Still a really cool park to check out, but as I said, it's raining, so places that maybe I wanted to stop, I didn't get to stop. And that's kind of the same thing here outside of the park. We're now at the like high altitude. I can't remember what this region is called. It's kind of where we actually went swimming last episode. It's the very high altitude. I think we're at almost 1,000 meters, actually probably above, yeah. We're 1,200 meters above sea level, so we are quite a high altitude, and we're kind of like on the tops of these mountains. They're not really rocky mountains, they're more like rounded, but essentially they're kind of the highest point we'll get for a while, and then we'll kind of go into Osoyoos, and then kind of, I think, go up for the next day, and then eventually make our way back down to Alberta. Alberta's at 1,000 feet, 1,000 meters, Calgary, so really we're not losing a lot of altitude, but we'll go up and down a couple times. And yeah, as I said, it's raining, and it's been raining since we've got through Hope. So we got gas in Hope, and then we're making our way through here. I wanted to explore a little bit more of the logging roads around this area after Manning Park, because there's lots and lots of logging roads. Looking at my map, looking at just the sides of the roads, I'm like, hey. But with this rain, it's not so much fun. It's actually only 8 degrees too right now, which we're recording this at the end of June. And it's only 8 degrees because, well, it's cold and we're high, or it's raining and we're high altitude. Alberta got some snow, so here I wouldn't be surprised if we seen some snow, because the other part of the Coquihalla actually did. So maybe we'll see some snow, but I don't think so. Anyways, we'll just continue going through this rain and seeing if we see anything interesting. As I said, I'm not really looking for anything interesting right now because I don't want to go outside when it's 8 degrees and raining. I've had enough of that. So we're gonna just keep on going until we either get some interesting stuff out of the rain or we get into Osoyoos, depending on how the rest of the day goes. Here, the road was down to a single lane as we winded our way through the mountainside and over the summit. But once again, we were met with rain, so we pushed forwards and down the other side of the pass. And as we did, the forest slowly thinned out and the lush vegetation all but disappeared, with it only sticking around sources of water. And as we went through town after town, we spotted the orchards and their not yet open fruit stands, signaling that we've made it to the Osoyoos Valley and we're one step closer to Calgary. And well, it's still raining, but we are turning off to where we're going to be parking, or trying to find a place to camp tonight. Supposedly there's a little road up here that goes to, I think, regional park, but you can camp in the park. But what you can do is you can go ahead and actually camp before you get into the park on this logging road. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to do that. As you can see, it's raining. So I don't know what we'll find. There's some equipment here, but that's kind of standard for logging roads. So what we'll do is we will kind of head up here. There is no signs. I think they're just storing stuff here. So, and while we're on the logging road, as you can tell, I'm not gonna air down my tires because it's not very far. It's literally 1 kilometer. And let's see what it says here. No, it doesn't say anything about not camping here, so we are good. We're gonna just continue up this road for a little bit and hopefully find a place to camp in the rain tonight. We'll have to see. And well, after driving up that logging road for a little bit and kind of doing our little twists and turns, I found one spot down there. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. But then I seen this spot. And well, This is why I like this spot. Check out this view. Absolutely epic of a view. We can look down into the valley down below. We can kind of see the road we came up on way down there. It's probably actually hard for you guys to see. You can just see the road down there. I see one car parked out there. So I think this is going to be the spot for tonight. It is a little close to the road, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'd rather be farther out. But this isn't our full camping trip. This is an overlanding trip from Vancouver to Calgary. So you don't always need the perfect sites. Thankfully, it's actually stopped raining. As you can see, it's getting a little bit darker. It's about like 8:30. Always these first nights during these trips, as you saw on the Calgary trip or the Vancouver trip, you always do them a little bit later that first night. You're always in a little bit late. But essentially what we're going to do is I think we're going to go ahead, just kind of back into this spot so that I can get as level as possible. Honestly, not going to be super level, but kind of just level it out here and we'll be good for tonight. Then I got to get food cooking before it gets too dark. And well, we have our camp set up. We got dinner cooking on the grill and we have our tent set up in this amazingly epic view. Like, I know that this is all over BC. You can just go on a logging road and get views like this all day, every day, but you just can't complain when you're here. It is amazing. As I said, you can kind of see down in the valley. I can see some house lights in the distance on the lake over there. And then I think there's someone maybe in that little tiny shack down there, but it's just up here. And I can also hear some people maybe in a campsite farther down or camping down there. But other than that, it's just us, the birds, and all the coyotes. I can hear coyotes on that hill, talking to the coyotes over there. So that's always fun, but they're just coyotes. Coyotes aren't too bad. It's the cougars and the bears that are more iffy. But anyways, my dinner is almost ready, so I'm gonna go ahead, eat that with this epic view, and then it's pretty much time to turn in. I might get a couple things done for, well, flat 4 off-road. We got some orders to put through. But other than that, it's pretty chill night, just enjoying the view. And well, we're back in the tent. So as soon as that sun set, it dropped in temperature pretty well. This area is known to do that just because it gets so hot in the day. And then there's not much besides sand and a little bit of water. So the temperature drops pretty good at night. And that's exactly what it did. So after we finished up dinner, just went ahead, kind of packed everything up, got prepared for the night, and got up into the tent. And that's where we are now. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is my rooftop tent. This is bigger than you need for one person, but it's great because I'm able to store stuff in here like cameras and gear as I sleep. But this is where we'll be sleeping on a road trip back to Calgary. So as I said, it's going to get a little bit colder. It's going to be about 5 to 7 I think tonight, which is actually about the same as when we're in Merritt when we're going to Vancouver. So I'll be fine. I got my 0-degree sleeping bag as well as some warm blankets, so we'll be good in those kind of temperatures. So with that being said, I think it's time to go ahead, go to sleep and wake up with the sun. Probably not wake up with the sun at 5 a.m. but wake up probably pretty early because we're going to be getting sunlight on this tent pretty early. So see you guys in the morning for the second day. And good morning to this beautiful spot in the Okanagan. So last night was a little bit chilly. As I mentioned, that temperature kind of drops here because there's not much holding any of the heat, but it was still a very nice place to camp. There wasn't much noise at all. You can kind of hear the highway, but not many people are going through this highway that late at night. And then there's a couple people using this road. I think 2 people, like right at sunrise, 5 in the morning. So I heard them, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. As you can see, the wind has kind of picked up, and with it being so cold in the morning, it's a little bit chilly. It's not what you'd expect for June, but it's still, I mean, you can't complain about this kind of campsite. It's awesome. So what we're doing now is we're just starting up some breakfast, gonna have a little bit of a snack, and then I have a couple emails to respond to, pack up the Forester, and then we're gonna keep on heading east. I almost said west. We're heading east. We're gonna try to hit the Cranbrook, Kootenays area today, find a place to camp, and then from there we'll be heading back on to Calgary. So yeah, let's go ahead, have something to eat, enjoy this epic view, pack up the tent, and get ready to hit the road. Well, we're off the trail and back on the pavement again. Today is going to be our longest driving day. Well, obviously because it's our full day on the road, so might as well make it our longest driving day. I do want to explore some areas. I think it's by Red Mountain, that kind of high altitude Alpine. I want to check it out if I'm not mistaken. So we might have a little bit of off-roading at that point. But other than that, it's going to be a pretty good day of just driving on the asphalts and seeing if we can find anything interesting. I would go for a swim right by I don't know if it's Osoyoos Lake, but the lake that Osoyoos is on. So essentially, I could go for a swim, but it's only 15 and it's windy, so it's not very warm. It's a lot cooler than our trip before, so I don't think I'll go for a swim today. Maybe. There's also a river that I'm thinking we might camp by in Cranbrook, so there's also that possibility. But the rivers are flowing really good right now, so maybe we don't want to jump in that. Anyways, as I said, we're heading towards the Osoyoos now. We aren't very far. I'm gonna grab some of the gas in the Osoyoos, and then we gotta make the long climb up essentially the wall, up into the higher Alpine, and then from there I think it's a pretty good drive just through the mountainous tree, kind of like Alpine, Montana kind of stuff. A little more tree than pretty much the desert out here, and then eventually we'll go back down a little bit into Cranbrook, or at least that's the plan for today. As I said, amazing campsite. I would definitely say I would visit again, but there's so many other campsites that are that good around this area that who knows, maybe I'll return someday, maybe I won't. We'll just have to see. Anyways, we'll keep on moving along and see where it takes us. And with it already warming up, we headed down the valley and towards the lake, where, due to the much warmer water, I decided I would go for a swim. So after driving through the town, which is situated between two lakes, and hitting the beach, I jumped in. And after all the glacier swimming we've done, this wasn't too bad. After the refreshing swim, we dried off and hit the road again, now aiming for the set of switchbacks that climbed the valley wall. And after slowly making our way up the switchbacks, the forest surrounded us again. And well, the drive after that was pretty much the same as we snaked through mountain after mountain and drove through small villages. Well, until the the downpour caught up to us again. And after driving through the downpour, it was back into another dry valley where, after clearing it, we went up the other side to one of the largest passes we would take today. And as you can see, the terrain has changed quite a bit. We've actually been back and forth between kind of the high Alpine kind of foresty area, as well as the really, really dry forest, as well as no forest. We've been back and forth 3 or 4 times on this leg of the journey. But we're kind of in this area that I've wanted to explore. I'm looking for forestry roads. I do have my new map system, as I've talked about many, many times, Overlanding. When I was doing the trip to Vancouver, I didn't have it back then. So I didn't know that we're actually, I believe, entering a national park or a provincial park. So that kind of stuff kind of makes it harder to explore because you can't just go down every forestry and logging road. There's one right there. That was actually a logging road I can see, and it goes through the national park. But I'm just going to keep my eye open and keep on driving and see if we find anything that I want to check out. Because as you can see, the 5th time it's raining. What is really cool is we're actually, I think, higher than Rogers Pass at this point. We're at 1,500 meters of elevation. Actually, it's still climbing. So we might even get to 1,600. But with that being said, that's why it looks like this is high Alpine at this point, or sub-Alpine. Don't quote me, I'm not a whatever it's called that knows climates. But as you can see behind us, we are really high up. So that's why I want to explore this area, because it'd be really cool to kind of just drive around in here. So I'm gonna just keep on driving, check out some forestry roads. Obviously, maybe I won't do as much filming because, well, it's raining and it's hard to put the camera out in the rain, but we'll just see how it goes. It's been a rainy day, so we've been making good time and just kind of enjoying the drive and enjoying the view. So let's keep on going. So we continued to climb into the Alpine and into the clouds, turning off the main highway and onto what's referred as Strawberry Pass. Here, the logging roads were abundant and long, but one caught my eye. And well, it didn't even end up being a logging road, but a rec area with off-road trails. Something I was not expecting way up here. So we took the opportunity to explore it. And while it was still raining, it felt right as we pushed through the lush vegetation and partially overgrown trails. And while they weren't very hard trails, they were still a great break from the asphalt. As we continued to explore the area, we came into junction after junction, selecting the trail that would take us in a big loop in this breathtaking forest. And before we knew it, we were coming out the other side after a little bit of a tight squeeze in between the trees. So back on the road we went, now heading back down the other side of the pass and navigating our way through the mountains, topped in the clouds and into the sunshine. But it wouldn't be for long. Just as we made it down one pass, we started heading up the other. As we started making our way up this pass, the Rocky Mountains started to become, well, a little more rocky. But just as we started cresting the top of the pass, the storm clouds came barreling in behind us, not only bringing rain, but a little bit of snow. So I stopped for a quick photo before jumping back into the car and making our way back down in the rain. And well, it's raining again. This whole trip is just rain, rain, rain. But I guess we're coming from Vancouver, so what do we expect? But we just went over, I think the highest summit we're going to do this trip, it's the Kootenay Pass. And it was snowing up there, as you guys saw in that little clip there. When I was parked out there, I was getting some snacks, as we do when we're overlanding, and I looked up at the mountains up there and there's snow, which is crazy it's now the end of June, so that kind of storm system that moved through the province and moved through into Alberta also happened to hit BC, and at the higher altitudes got some snow. You can see that I'm also a little wet. And that's well because I had to get some pictures of the snow in the Forester. It was actually snowing when I was sitting up there just a little bit, so it was really cool to kind of see that in this weather and on this trip. With that being said, we are getting closer to our place we want to stay tonight. As I said, it's more just rain, 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 so we haven't been able to check it out as much, but we were able to check out that area I wanted to. I did note that down on my map because it'd be a really fun place to explore, really high altitude as I said, and it's a really good trail system. I only explored a little bit just to see what it was like, and I was really impressed. It's pretty basic trails, but I bet you can find some harder stuff here and there. So got that on my list to explore later on. And then other than that, as I said, we've gone through a couple towns, gone through about 4 or 5 rainstorms, some really big rainstorms, and then just a couple more calmer ones like the one we just went through up top of the pass. But we're going to continue moving on. As I said, I'm not 100% sure where we're going to stay tonight. We've got one more town to pass through, but really the climate's kind of staying the same now. As we get more south again into Cranbrook, we're going to start to see that more Okanagan style, or Montana, where it's more treed, or less treed, sorry, and a lot drier. But until then, we're kind of going through the nice, dense, central BC forest that we're used to. when we're going through Revy and so forth, like in the last video. Anyways, we're going downhill now. As I said, we passed the pass and we're going downhill, so my ears just popped multiple times there. I hopefully got everything I wanted to cover. I need to dry off a little bit, and I'll catch up to you probably when we're getting close or finding our campsite, because it's all about the same now. And as we descended, the temperature started climbing and the rain and snow started tapering off. From there, it was through more mountains, another valley, and even more mountains in the setting sun. As we enter the Cranbrook area and then Cranbrook, we got our first little bit of sunshine today before it dipped below the mountains. We then turned out of town and towards where we would be staying the night. And after a short drive on one of the side roads, we finally made the final turn into camp. And well, there we go. We have the tent set up right here. We got dinner cooking and it's just about dark. But check out this spot. Can't complain. This isn't a main road, this is a side road, so I haven't seen any traffic on it. Hopefully tonight we won't hear anything, it'll be nice and quiet. And then we are right here by the river. I'm trying to keep my voice down low because there's a couple people camping over there in a truck, and then there's people way down there playing some music and loud stuff. So hopefully we don't hear them, and hopefully I don't annoy my neighbors. So yeah, I gotta say, for just a transit, like we're gonna be here maybe 10 hours, if that, this is a perfect spot just to enjoy the cold weather. As you can see my breath. And well, there's snow up there, so I'll get some good pictures in the morning of that, but we're just losing the last little bit of sunlight. Unfortunately, there wasn't much of a sunset again today. But what I just learned is today is actually the longest day of the year. So that means that we get to enjoy camping, which also means we have very little darkness. But at this point I'm used to it because that's what our camping trips have been. Especially where Merritt, we had the 4 a.m. sunrise. I think now it's like 6, maybe 5:30. But anyways, my food's almost done, so I'm gonna eat that. And this is where we're gonna call it for day 2 of our Vancouver to Calgary trip. So that was definitely the longest day of even my trip out to Vancouver. It definitely was the longest, I think, not even kilometer-wise, I think just time-wise. There was a lot of time on the road. Obviously we did a little exploration, so that added to it. But also when we come back this way, we lose an hour, so that also didn't help. So it was a long day. We probably left at, actually wait, I did go swimming in Osoyoos, so probably didn't leave that area to noon. So I guess getting here at 9 kind of makes sense, but overall it was still a long day. I still enjoyed it. It's nice to have a drive, stop, and then kind of look at the area. I wish it wasn't raining so we could stop a little bit more, but unfortunately I think I was chasing the rain from Vancouver to Calgary because it looks like it's in Calgary kind of right now. It's kind of over the mountains and kind of that way. So hopefully tomorrow we won't have any rain. And tomorrow will be our last day. So we'll be doing Cranbrook to Calgary. So it is a little bit shorter. Actually, it's quite a bit shorter than what we did today. So we'll wake up. Obviously, I'll show you guys the campsite a little bit more. It got just dark really quickly because, well, we took forever to get here, and even it being the longest day of the year, getting here at 9:40, we only had enough sunlight to really eat, set up the tent, and then kind of pack everything up, get ready for bed, and then jump up here. It was pretty much dark by then, and it's, as you guys know, this camera doesn't do so great in the dark, so I try not to film a lot in the dark, and that's where these lights in the tent come in. They're really, really helpful for filming these kind of nighttime parts of the video. So that's kind of the plan for tonight and tomorrow. Also, I might go for a swim in the river. It's coming from those snow-capped mountains, so it might be really, really cold. So I'm not sure if I will or not, but we'll definitely enjoy the view, check out the place a little bit more, show you guys the campsite before we jump on the road and head back to Calgary. Might do the long way, might take 22 all the way up the side, might even do 40s close. I don't know, we'll figure it out. I don't want to take the highway, so maybe we'll do a little bit more exploration tomorrow, but I will see you guys in the morning. And well, good morning to our third and final day of the Vancouver to Calgary adventure. So, as you guys know, we went to sleep here. Beautiful camping spot right by the river. I did notice there's a train over there late last night when I heard it go by, but other than that, it was pretty good. The music shut off from the other people way over there pretty early, which was nice. And then I'm pretty sure that truck with the camper is actually just here saving a spot because they got firewood and everything beside them, and I've seen no one buy it. So that's what I'm pretty sure is going on, is they're just saving a spot probably for the weekend or whatever. So it is a little chilly. As you can tell, I'm wearing both my fleece and my insulated jacket. It gets cold around here. I think I got to 4 last night. Obviously I was nice and warm, but once you get out of the tent and your clothes on, it's a little bit colder to warm up. So we got breakfast cooking on the kitchen, and then we're just kind of enjoying this view as it cooks. So I don't think I'm gonna go swimming today because that's glacier water and it's like 10-ish, 11-ish degrees and it's a little bit breezy. So that doesn't sound like a good plan to me. So we're not gonna do that today. We're gonna go ahead, enjoy this view. I'll let you guys check out this campsite a little bit more because it's beautiful. Check out that mountain. And I'm gonna have some breakfast. We're gonna pack up and then hit the road. As I said, I don't know what road we're gonna take home, but it won't be the main highway. So we're gonna check out some more places today as we kind of drive and make our way home. So let's go ahead and look at this beautiful campsite. And well, we're back on the highway. So we're on the main BC highway heading west now. So as I said, nothing really interesting here. It's just kind of the same highway that we seen yesterday and last night. And then eventually we'll get through Fernie, Sparwood and stuff. And then that's where we can have our options to maybe hit 40. But I think 40 isn't super interesting that way. It's just a couple winding roads. If you want to see that in the winter where it's a lot more fun, go check out the Overlanding with Adrian and Austin. And then I think what we'll do though is hit Highway 22. It's pretty wide open, but it's not the main highway, and there's some cool stuff I want to check out. Like, I've never actually stopped at Spray Lakes and stuff, so stop there, see what it looks like and so forth, and then that will eventually bring us into Calgary. So yeah, I don't know what today's gonna look like. That's pretty much how every video goes, so I'm just kind of figuring out as I go. But yeah, we'll continue on this highway for a little bit. As I said, nothing real interesting. It is warmer, it's 17, so not too warm, but it's a pretty good temperature for driving, especially when there's no rain. Thankfully, today was sunny. Well, for now. And with the sun, we made quick time back into the mountains. Here, much like the Rocky Mountains in Banff, they towered above us, making the road wind through them anywhere it could. This paired with the amazing view made for quite a fun drive as we left the Cranbrook area and drove through the small mountain towns, finally entering Crowsnest Pass. But it wasn't for long as we hit a traffic jam at the Frank Slide. And after slowly inching forwards and waiting for 30 minutes, we made our way through the reason for all the traffic: construction. Shortly after, we turned off and onto Highway 22, where we recognized it, the prairies. And we're on the final push. We're under 200 kilometers and 2 hours till home. So as you can see, we decided to take Highway 22, which is back in the prairies. You go from Crowsnest Pass, you just kind of come around the one corner, and then all of a sudden you're back in the prairies. This road is actually known to be really windy. Sometimes they actually have signs up here, over there with the wind speed, and then they start flashing if it's too windy, because trucks have flipped over before here. So it's not that windy today, which is nice, because this Forester with everything is not the most, it's not the greatest in the wind. It gets pushed around a lot. But we're in the open area now. There's not as much interesting terrain as there was in the mountains, because, well, there was no mountains. We can kind of see them over here a little bit, and you can actually see kind of where Highway 40 would go. So I was gonna do 40, as I said, but I think we're gonna save that for a different video, because you can do a whole video on just exploring that part of the trail. So I don't want to kind of put that in my Vancouver to Calgary video, because this is already a pretty long video. So we can make a whole nother video on Highway 40, kind of exploring it, finding camping spots, and that. And I'm also not sure if it's all the way open, all the way up in the Kootenays yet, because Highwood Pass, I think, is still closed. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, we'll kind of continue moving along. As I said, I think I'm going to stop at a couple places, because I haven't really stopped. Usually I'm just driving through here. It's usually like in the morning going snowmobiling or skiing, or late at night coming back from Montana or something. So we're going to take this time to kind of explore this. It's still midday, so we'll explore it. That construction did put us back probably like 20-25 minutes. I don't know what they were doing, because it was like all traffic stopped, then traffic go one lane and then the other, but who knows? They were doing construction because it's construction season. So yeah, we'll enjoy this. I'm gonna stop somewhere. I don't know exactly where yet. We're just check it out and see what we can find. And then I think we're at, can't remember exactly, in 88 kilometers we'll be turning off. So we got quite a distance on this long stretch of prairie.
Out here, there wasn't much more than grass, or that's how it looked. But as we made our way through the ranchland, we could see the foothills making their presence known, just like the storm above us that has been following us this whole trip, as it rained one last time. And as we came out of the rain, we had one more stop to check out, Chain Lakes. And after grabbing a snack, we took a look, and honestly, we're a little underwhelmed after everything we saw in the last couple days. So, back on the road again, we made the final push through the now rolling hills and onto the highway, where, after what felt like minutes, we entered Calgary. We were finally home.
And there we go. That is going to wrap up our Vancouver to Calgary trip. We're on familiar territory, and we're only a couple kilometers away from Chestermere. So I hope you guys enjoyed this trip. Let me know what you think about this sort of video over 3 days, and also let me know if there's anything you want to see in the next couple of these trips, because as I said, this ain't gonna be the only one. We're gonna be doing this 2 more times with some cool little things here and there, as well as checking out some BC Central stuff, as well as Shuswap, as well as some Whistler area stuff with maybe the Vancouver crew. I don't know if I'll be filming that, but we'll have to see. And there we go, we're in Chestermere, so that means that we're going to be wrapping up this 3-day trip from Vancouver to Calgary. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and as I said, be sure to let me know in the comment section below if you want to see any changes, improvements, or other stuff in these videos or any other video. And always make sure you're staying up to date with Flat 4 Off-Road and all of our adventures, because that's what made this possible. And with that being said, that's gonna wrap up today's video. So as always, peace out and stay humble.